Hello and welcome to IELTS Speaking Test Stage 2 topic number 1. Describe a useful device. Brackets, not a phone, iPad or computer. So the first thing we need to consider is what the question is asking us, and it's to talk about a device. So the trigger word is device. A device, a thing made or adapted for a particular purpose, especially a piece of mechanical or electronic equipment. So, going into our framework, we need to paraphrase and use synonyms for the actual topic itself. We don't need to worry about the things in brackets because that's just an instruction. So, describe a useful device. Describe. Talk about, illustrate, discuss, demonstrate. All synonyms. Useful. Change that to helpful, labour-saving, convenient. And then we can also add in things like the benefits of a labour-saving, then moving on. Device, well, that's the trigger, that's the key to doing the whole topic. So we can change that out to accessory, appliance or gadget, all of which are things that we can refer to as mechanical or electric. So, introduction. We need to paraphrase, and we're going to start by the examples. I've got 3 of them for you. And these are going to start setting the scene for what we're going to talk about. I'm going to talk about the benefits of a labour-saving gadget I own. Let me illustrate a really helpful appliance I recently bought. I'd like to discuss a convenient household accessory. Now, what device to pick? I've been teaching this topic for many years because it's been around for many years and it's still a fairly common topic and fairly popular. A lot of my face-to-face students have come up with some very poor choices when they've tried to do it without thinking, without trying to framework, without practicing. And some very common poor choices are things like a calculator, a watch, electronic dictionary, GPS, etc. Now these are poor for the simple reason that we're expected to talk for 2.5–3 minutes. There's not much you can say about a calculator or a watch. A calculator's basic function is to help you do maths assignments. So once you've talked about that, there's not much else to talk about. So you might do 30 seconds worth of talking about a calculator, and then you've run out of things to say, and that will become very obvious to the examiner because you start to panic, you start to sweat, you get all nervous. So we want to avoid common choices, poor choices. So what we're going to talk about for this, the example I'm going to use, is a robot vacuum cleaner. So the photograph, the picture shows the actual product, so we know what it looks like, so we can talk about that. And it also shows a phone. Now the topic says we can't talk about a phone, but don't worry, we're not going to. We're talking about the robot vacuum cleaner, and one of the benefits is there's an app that runs on your phone so you can tell it to clean when you're not in, and we'll go into that in a bit more detail. So the past. What we're going to do here is use the past tense to start our story. Paint a picture with words is the phrase I want to use here. The more descriptive we can be, the better our presentation is going to be, because if you can paint pictures in the examiner's mind, if he or she can actually almost be there with you in your story, the better the story will come across. So, I'm a college student. Home is far away, so I rent a small apartment. You can even say that you tried to get into a dormitory, but they were all full. You could even say that you wanted to rent with somebody else, but there was nobody available to rent with you, so you had to rent on your own. Now, why are we doing that? Because we can talk about you hate housework. You need time to study. That's why you're at college, or that's why you're at high school, wherever you might be at the time. So study is very important to you, and you don't want to waste an hour, 2 hours a day cleaning. So you bought a robot vacuum cleaner to do the cleaning for you. Now we need to describe the actual item, the device. So we talk about what it looks like, the size, the colour, the shape. So it's a circle. It's about 35–40 centimetres across, about 3–4 centimetres deep. It's black. It's perfectly round. So when it's not in use, it just sits in a corner, completely out of the way. Problem is, and this is a downside, it's noisy. So if you use the vacuum cleaner while you're at home, it's too noisy so you can't study. And it's only a small apartment, so there's nowhere to go. Upside, it's programmable, so it cleans while you're out. You could even go along the lines of, just before I go into, say, a 2-hour lecture, I can get my phone, click a button on the application, and it'll start to clean the apartment for me, which is fabulous. So it does the work while I'm not there, so I don't get disturbed. So I always come home to a nice, clean, tidy apartment. Fabulous. Opinion. We need to now tell the examiner what we think. Great financial investment. It's well worth the money. One less thing for me to worry about. Gives me more time to study. Finishing up with the future. Tell the examiner. So to wrap up, and then you go into a conclusion about what you want to do in the future. Now, why are we doing so to wrap up? Normally we want to speak for 2.5 3 minutes in the speaking topic. The examiner is the one who controls the time, not you. So the examiner will at some point say, okay, fine, let's move on to, and then he'll ask you another question in stage 3. But what we want to do here is let the examiner know we're almost finished talking, so he or she can get ready to stop you once you've actually done, and everything will come to a nice, natural conclusion. So to wrap up is a message to the examiner saying, I'm almost finished. Now, if you do that after, say, 30 seconds, maybe 1 minute of talk, then you're going to be far short of what the examiner is wanting to hear. So you're actually going to damage your presentation grade and score. So we need to practice lots and lots and lots, because that way we'll get a body clock going. And it's sort of like your inbuilt timer, letting you know that you're at about 2.5 minutes. So now we can move into the future, which is the conclusion. It's the last part of our framework. So to wrap up, then we talk about I wouldn't be without it. It saved my life. Would like more labour-saving devices such as this. Will recommend to my friends. Then we're done. So why no model answer, Tim? Why are you not actually giving me a word-for-word presentation? Well, that's very simple. If you make the story yourself, it's easier to remember. If I just give you a 3-minute presentation now, you're going to be using my words, my tone, my thoughts, my feelings, not yours, which makes it difficult for you to actually remember. If you make the story yourself, you can also change it. Now, what do we mean by changing it? Well, let's think about this. Spinning a yarn, telling a story, moving your story onwards. Another stage 2 topic is a time you had to have something repaired. Now, we can use the majority of the device topic we've just been discussing to answer this topic as well. Now, if you just memorize everything I said and used someone has typed a script for you and said, if you get this topic, this is the answer, it's fabulous. It might be, but you can't change it, not easily anyway. And considering there are literally thousands of IELTS speaking topics, trying to memorize thousands of 3-minute presentations is just not possible. So we have to get in the habit of not relying on other people's words. I will give you the ideas, you have to adapt it yourself. Now, we have that as a linkable topic. There are other linkable topics as well, which of course we can use in the future. So join me in speaking topic number 2 to see how I link one topic to a second topic by changing just 1 or 2 tiny little items. And that way, again, because we're making the story ourselves, it's coming from you, it's coming from your own heart, it's easier to remember. Thank you very much for joining me on this speaking topic. Welcome to morethan.xyz, and I look forward to seeing you in the other lessons in the future. All the best, and bye-bye for now.